Okay. Hi, my name is Jazzmyne, and this right here is my transition speech. Okay, I've lived in Maine basically my whole life. Was born in Presque Isle, and then I moved to Sullivan, which was basically kind of a temporary resting spot for my trip to Bar Harbor for education. And I've always been sort of the artsy kid. Ever since I could pick up like a pencil or a crayon, I've just doodled things on paper. Sometimes to just get thoughts out, sometimes when I'm stressed. It's just a thing I've had for a long time. And I think the person who encouraged me to keep going the most was my mother. I could not find a photo for some reason. All the photos that we've got are locked away in a closet somewhere. I have no clue where they are, so it's a picture of a cat instead. And well, that painting right there is actually something that she did. And like seeing those types of like paintings, I wanted to like live up to that. And she's always been really, really kind and supportive. And gosh, she's basically the reason I do art. I've done art for this long. Okay, so when I was really young, like three or four, a lot of the things I used to draw were just horses. No clue why, just horses. I was a horse kid. The occasional dog or cat, but still. And that changed a little bit when I picked up a book about dragons at a school library. I just found them really fascinating. That's a new picture. I don't really know where my older drawings are. But yeah, I thought dragons were really cool, and I got into the habit of drawing more detailed things because of that. And then video games came along somehow. I found Nintendo 64 when I was 8. I think it was at Norway Drive. I based a lot of my artwork for a certain period of time off of video games. Mario was a big one, Star Fox, and then later on I discovered Sonic the Hedgehog. I've been a freaking fanatic, like a complete nerd for that series, and I've got a lot of drawings based on that. So with the whole video game thing, I started thinking a little bit about like what kind of job I could get into. Mainly 7th and 8th grade, I thought maybe I should work for a video game company of some sort. And I kind of decided like what specific thing I wanted to like do by process of elimination. Playtesting was interesting at first, but then I thought that, well, what's the point really? You're just kind of playing and looking for bugs. I get old after a while. And the coding thing for like programming and such, way too confusing for my brain to handle. All these like numbers and letters, gobbledygook. So I decided to combine my passion for art and for video games to aim for an art department job. Like maybe I could do some concept art for a company. But then high school happened. And I just got lost in just this tidal wave of education and trying to keep up with things, trying to keep my grades up. And I just kind of lost track of what I wanted to do with my artwork. But I ended up drawing anyway. And the detail like skyrocketed. I didn't even know where that came from. And so I thought, oh hey, it's kind of cool to draw these weird creatures, and these dragons and beastie thingies that I've been like doodling while trying to do my math homework. So along the way, I thought that maybe being a creature designer in specific would be a good job. Whether I work for a movie company or like some group making a television show, or if I decide to stick with a video game thing. Just thought maybe designing like these animals for a canonical universe might be cool to do. And so right now, I've been drawing still. Don't know when I'm gonna stop doing that, honestly. I've surrounded myself with a bunch of people who share a similar passion for art. And they've been really supportive, I think. And I did start up a Tumblr account so I could get my art out there, but that website proved to be a little bit chaotic. I'm sure any Tumblr users in here would understand what I mean. Yeah, a lot of discourse. So I recently switched to DeviantArt so I could still like showcase my stuff and not have to deal with all of the socio-political drama. And about the Pokemon thing, that's a video game franchise I've discovered more recently. And I don't know if you can see it, but that's a Pikachu and a Charizard. Yeah, cool critters and a good source of artistic inspiration, I think. And this is a mural I managed to get like hung up in, I think it was Real Pizza last year. I was shocked when I found out they decided to do this. I thought this was just something I had to do to pass the murals class, but it ended up in a movie theater. I was just astounded. So it's been fairly difficult to figure out what I'm doing after high school. What am I going to do? Should I like set a span of time to like think before I jump into school? How am I going to earn the money? Like which schools are going to have like the right art courses for me? So I looked into it some. And I have a couple of safety colleges right here. Jazzmyne, because it's close to family. My cousins and grandparents live up in the northern region. They've got decent art courses that could get me started. Art education, studio art, a little bit of graphic design. No, I'm not really going for a graphic design career, but that might teach me how to like add some discipline to my art, and also to like learn how to take requests and accept criticism, because that's definitely like a big part of creature design as far as I can recognize. And the tuition is pretty cheap as well. Only about $8,000 for an undergrad. And College of the Atlantic. That's very close to where I live right now, which would be really, really useful. I'm a very family-centric person, so it would be cool to like still be able to visit my parents and brothers every now and then. And they have an excellent series of art courses. Like I took a look at it, drawing, animation, visual narrative. It's just a good collection to pick things out of. And the campus is beautiful as well. I've walked around there a couple of times, and it's just gorgeous. And here are my reach colleges. I don't really have any in-betweens. Mecca, main college, art, basically centered around art. Located in Portland, I thought it might be interesting to find out what life is like in the city, and Portland's a good option because it's still technically in Maine. And they have an animation and game art course that might be to try it out if I decide to stick with the video game thing. And and Full Sail University. I've seen plenty of commercials about that. It's an online thing, so I could probably take the classes there while I'm attending another school. It may be a lot of work to like multitask like that, but anything to learn something. They have plenty of good classes to take. Game art, computer animation, game design, digital arts in general, and a very expansive list. But before I get into colleges, I'm for sure taking a gap year so I can earn the money I need for materials and such, and just have some time to really think things over, like what I'm going to do in specific. I might do commission work on DeviantArt. I'm not quite sure yet, but it might be useful to earn some money from making art, because that can be a useful first step into the business world. And there you go.
Questions for Jazz?
Have you ever thought about doing mosaics?
Mosaics.
Because the way your art style is, it's highly detailed, and I'm curious if you've ever thought about it.
Well, maybe. We'll check it out. I'm not sure if we have one here. Do we have one here?
A mosaics
To
class?
be honest.
I think that Keenan does some work like that.
Maybe something you have to do more in your own time, but I'm just thinking, at least just the way your art looks, it'd be cool if you could implement that into mosaic pieces.
So I was taking murals around the same time you were, and I remember going to class and seeing your mural that I didn't know was your mural, but I would just look at it and talk to Dan like, so cool. So it was really cool finding that out finally, that is yours. It's like, it was like right next to me, and I was like, oh my God. I'm just drawing Abraham Lincoln playing the trombone. But
Can you go back to it, Jazz?
Okay, let's see if I can. There we go.
But along, like, my main question is, like, have you ever thought of, like, transferring this, like, super duper detailed art, things, like, digitally, and, like, when you take this gap year to, like, develop, like, funds, would you, like, plan on investing into digital art, or, like, having suggested, like, let's say, into something else?
Digital art. I have a digital art program on my iPad currently, and I will practice managing all the tools and such, so I can like, maybe have another outlet. And if I turn that into a career of some sort, that'd be useful. I'm positive.
Jazzmyne, what's the medium of that?
Medium?
Yeah.
Oh, paint.
What kind?
Jeez, I can't
Is it
remember.
oil or is it like tempera?
It was
or,
tempera paint, I think.
We use latex paint. For,
Oh, latex.
or acrylic?
No, latex paint. For,
Latex, like house paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
They needed to find something that wouldn't dissolve with water. But these paintings had to be durable as well as pretty.
That's really interesting. Did you lacquer the surface of it? Or is some of it glossy?
No. I did not.
Because it looks like it's kind of glossy.
That's probably just the way the light is, maybe.
Yeah. Where is that now?
It's here at school.
Where?
They haven't hung it up.
It's not hung up
It's
yet.
just kind of laying around.
Okay. Cool. I was wondering if you'd ever heard of the Art Institute of Pittsburgh.
No.
Have any of you guys heard of that? They have a huge, you mentioned like online learning, and Al, you were talking about spending a year developing your portfolio. And yeah, you're right, people will caution you to have something to show for it. That would be a great thing for you, I just forgot to mention it. Taking online classes, they have all kinds of stuff, everything from like graphic design to like actual studio art drawing and everything, but it's all online. I think it's really fascinating, and you basically have to scan your work or take really, really good quality digital images and share it with professors, like when you have different assignments. And a friend of mine actually is a professor there, and you know she's forever giving people feedback and engaging. It seems like a really cool program. You know,
Sounds like a cool program.
as a sometimes like a bridge. You know. Other questions for Jazz? What about art education?
Art education.
Does that interest you at all?
Definitely, yes. Okay. So I got a lot of compliments on my work already, but I look at it and I know that there are still some things I need to improve on. Like
Cool.
shading, I suck at shading.
Yeah.
So art education would definitely be useful.
I thought it would be very unfair if I didn't ask you this question too, but what's your favorite color?
Jeez, I could go on for hours, but I think the top three would be cobalt, gold, and copper.
Oh, yeah.
What's cobalt?
Cobalt's like
Blue.
cobalt.
It's a blue.
Metal blue.
Really deep blue.
Calvin?
It's a Calvin color?
Oh.
Like last night, the sky, like about an hour after sunset, there was this ribbon of orange, and the rest of it was cobalt blue.
Yeah.
It's a very cold color. It's like the color of outer space.
Pretty wicked.
Cool. Thanks, Jazz.